Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the session 2 of HR Matrix and Analytics. See, many questions arises in our mind like what, why, how, when. So, when you are working in an organization, you will be very curious to know what happened. You will also try to understand why it happened. Then you are also very keen to know what will happen next and how to adapt the strategy. So this session is going to focus to answer on these very basic questions. The topics to be discussed today are core concepts of the business analytics and HR matrix. What is the difference between business intelligence and analytics? To understand the relation between what, why and how. This session will also try to make you understand the various levels of analytics, the payoff given by the analytics, how the analytics have moved from the past to the present, and how the HR evolved from the personal management to HR metrics and analytics. Before we move on to the today's session, let's just recap what we have done in the last session. If you remember, we discussed the syllabus. Then I told you about the importance of the HR matrix and analytics, why any organization should go for it. Then what is the difference between the metrics and the analytics? And we also discussed the core concepts of the terminology. As we all are very much familiar with the word business intelligence, and even the analytics is very common and they are very closely related to each other. One comes first and the other comes the second. So let's understand the difference between the business intelligence and the analytics. See, basically business intelligence focuses on the descriptive part, while the analytics focuses on the predictive parts. For example, business intelligence will answer you for the demographic details, like for example, how long a person have been with us, while the analytics will be helping you to answer how long the person will stay with us. Okay, so you will see when we want to get performance related answers, it is the business intelligence which gives us. But if we want to solve the queries related to the recommendation part, then it is the predictive which comes in the role. For example, how many days will a person be absent last year? So this we can easily get from the descriptive. But if you want to know like what are the best incentives to give in order to make the person stay with us, in that case you will need analytics parts. So in short, we can understand that business intelligence gives us the hindsight, while the predictive analytics gives us the foresight. Like for example, hindsight means it is a rear view. It is based on reporting. It will help you to make a dashboard. It will give you the ratios. It will give you the slicing, dicing, tracking and monitoring. But predictive will help you for future looking, likelihood, probability, hidden patterns, mathematical models are used, and it uses the statistical forecasting. There will be occasions in the organization where you need to understand what and why in order to understand and get how. So, business intelligence will help us to understand what happened. Analysis will help you to understand why it happened, but analytics will help you to understand what will happen next. And if you want to go for the decision making, that means you need to know how to adapt the strategy. So it's necessary to understand why and ask questions. Similarly, it is also necessary to you can say understand what will happen next in order to apply the knowledge, and then to based on that we need to take a decision. Okay, so every HR manager faces these all questions in their life, and in order to get the answer they need to work on the metrics and the analytics. If we study analytics level wise, you will find that there are four levels. Level 1 is reactive. That means it is operational reporting. And you will find 56, more than 56% organizations do that. This is based on the research which was conducted. Then there is a level 2, which we call it as proactive advanced reporting. But all organizations are not involved in that. Hardly 30% of the organizations are involved in that. Level 3 is advanced analytics, in which only 10% of the organizations are involved. And level 4 comes the predictive analytics, where hardly 4% or less than that organizations are involved. So we can see that this is a new concept, and it is not very common, and organizations don't go because they don't understand, they don't have the technology, or you can say they don't have the understanding and the right talent in order to operate it. See, HR analytics always gives the pays off. Okay, as we have seen in the previous discussion, that hardly 14% of the organizations are adopting it. Believe that they regularly use data to make the talent and the HR strategy decisions, and that's why they are different from the others. So those which are applying is they are operating on the analytics and the metrics. These organizations get a better payoff. How? Two times they are as likely to believe that they are excellent at selecting the right candidates. Two times these organizations are likely to believe they are delivering a strong leadership pipeline. Three times they are likely to believe they are efficiently operating the HR. And these organizations generate 30% higher stock returns than the S&P 500 over the last 3 years. We need to understand from past to future how the HR has changed. So presently, if you see terabytes of data of information, they are being generated every single day, which is being used to answer fairly, accurately what will probably occur in the future. Analytics is shifting emphasis from trend analysis based purely on internal data to presenting the scenarios of the future. Now, as we all are aware that HR is evolving. Okay, so here we can see how it has evolved. Role of the HRM has changed from caretaker to the strategic partner. It has changed its focus from employee focused record to the cost effectiveness, employee development, etc. So as the role of the HR is changing, HRM is changing, obviously its working style will also change. Previously, they used to be based on the past records, gut feeling, experiences, but now the decision making is based completely on the data that is derived from the various sources. So how does the need of the HR analytics arises? As we see that many organizations have high quality of HR data, okay, which resides with multitude of systems such as HRMS, performance management, learning, compensation, surveys, etc. But still we struggle to use it effectively to predict workforce trends, minimize risk and maximize returns. At the same time, the cost of attrition, poor hiring, suboptimal compensation, keeping below par employees, bad training, learning strategies are also just too high. So data-driven insights help us to take and make decisions which are always better than the judgmental HR practices in terms of how to recruit, whom to recruit, how to onboard and train employees, how they keep employees informed, engaged through their tenure with the organization. So hence regular tracking and prediction of the crucial HR metrics is indispensable.
After developing an understanding of what is HR analytics, now the question arises, why HR analytics? So according to various philosophers, they have given very good argument why HR analytics should be practiced. According to Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets managed. What gets managed gets executed. According to David Foster, the business demands on HR are increasingly going to be on analysis just because people are so expensive. At the same time, you will find SAP, which creates the HR dashboards. They give a very good argument for this. To clearly demonstrate the interaction of business objectives and workforce strategies, to determine a full picture of likely outcomes, we need to practice At the same time, the Cedar Creststone is of the opinion that in order to improve the performance, global organizations with workforce analytics and workforce planning outperform all other organizations by 30% more sales per employee. So, there is a valid reason that why we should practice HR analytics.
As we see that HR analytics depends on the data. That is, we nowadays we call it as a big data also. So the goal of the human resource analytics is to provide an organization with insights for effectively managing employees so that business goals can be reached quickly and efficiently. And that is the reason there are huge vendors such as Oracle, IBM, SAP, which compete with many small vendors to deliver the best HR analytics software as a service in the market. Now the question arises, what should be measured and what can be measured or could be measured? So there are subdomains of the HR like recruitment, retention, performance and career management, training, compensation and benefits, workforce planning, organization effectiveness. And so we can develop the HR matrices for all these subdomains. These all can be measured and should be measured and could be measured. HR analytics solution can help us in multi ways. For example, they can help us in prioritizing and target applicants who are most qualified for a specific position. They can also help us to forecast workforce requirement and determine how to best fill open positions. They also help us to link workforce utilization to strategic and financial goals for improved business performance. HR analytics also help us to identify the factors that lead to greater employee satisfaction and productivity. They also help us to discover the underlying reasons for employee attrition and identify high value employees at risk of leaving. It will also help the organization to establish effective training and career development initiatives. So the advantages of using HR analytics are improved hiring decision, good training, better insights, stable retention, and this all you can see over here on the slide. Okay, how it helps in improved hiring decision and all. And then you can see that I'm going to put now two questions over here. Okay, explain how HR metrics differ from HR analytics and discuss the importance and significance of HR analytics. Now, these two questions are like an assignment to you. You have to submit within 2 days of the session and it should be submitted through email or the Google Drive, which will be shared with you. Okay, thank you all for listening patiently this session.